Hello, my name is Jessica. I am back with part 3 of our 4-part video series on aligning the mind-body-spirit connection, enriching and strengthening that connection through the use of essential oils. Thanks for watching. The first video that we did was an introduction to oils, a brief history, how to use them, and some safety precautions. The next video that we did was about our mind, how our emotions and our thinking patterns can influence our well-being through some bodily systems, how the essential oils can realign our thinking and help to strengthen our relaxation response. This video is going to focus on our bodies, our physical well-being more so. We're going to talk a little bit about how the current climate, the pandemic, has been affecting our physical well-being. And then we're going to jump into how specifically these 6 oils can help nourish and enrich our connections with our bodies and help heal us on a physical cellular level. So we all know that stress affects our well-being. That seems pretty obvious and straight to the point. But how does it actually affect our bodies? What is actually happening on a microbiological level to us? And how can we combat that? How can we keep ourselves physically well when our emotional nature is working against us? That's a big deal. One of the first ways we can do it is in the first video, by combating that stress, by having an arsenal and being aware of the way that our thinking patterns will physically manifest in our bodies. That's a huge way, just being aware. Stress is associated with adrenal fatigue, as I mentioned in the first video, specifically long-term stress. One little instance, one bad day, that's what our adrenal glands are for. They're for working in that manner in short bursts. But the specific situation that humanity has been going through is a long-term, slowly prolonged exposure to stress. This is overworking our adrenal glands, dosing us with cortisol and adrenaline, which is over time physically harming our bodies. If you can imagine it like this, when we were created, when we were cavemen, there's a reason why our bodies need to create cortisol and adrenaline. For an example, if we are being attacked by a bear, we need to be able to run, we need to be able to escape. Or if, there's a cliff, we need to be fearful of it and not jump over it. So we have these chemicals for a reason, to continue the human race. But what happens when we're exposed to long-term stressful situations over time is as a physical damaging of the cellular level, the cell lining, and then all of our body functions slowly deteriorate. So this can be sort of equated to like a child who experiences abuse at home. So you can imagine a caveman only experiences interaction with a bear once a year, maybe at the most, probably not that often. But what happens when a child comes home to a bear every single day? When they have a parent or a loved one or somebody in their life who is causing them this undue stress every single day over and over and over again, that is the kind of long-term effects we're talking about. And unfortunately, in a way, this is what we're experiencing through the pandemic. Through our current situation, we are being exposed so frequently to stress that our bodies are absolutely physically manifesting in illness, absolute illness. So we need to learn more about that, become aware of it, and then get ready to fight it. We can fight back. There's so many beautiful ways that we are able to heal ourselves, not only on the emotional side, which we already talked about, but on our physical side, and then on our spiritual side, which we'll get to in our next video. Stay tuned. It's going to be my favorite one. So the adrenal fatigue can have emotional symptoms and also physical symptoms, including digestive issues, which I'm sure are so common right now, just a nausea or upset stomach or, various digestive issues, just not running well. Sleep problems, body aches, and fatigue. I think fatigue is a rampantly running problem in our society. The coffee, the energy drinks, the things that we try to do to combat this fatigue is strong and deep. People will go really far to combat it instead of digging down to the reasons why. Why are we experiencing this? What's our diet like? What's our stress level like? Are we processing these things in order to lower the stress level and increase the healing? Those are things we can just ask ourselves. Over time, also the limbic system, which I mentioned in the previous video on our mind, the limbic system is associated with long-term memory, and the cortisol and adrenaline are overproducing. So this can also add to weight gain and the loss of energy. Essential oils can have a big impact on our physical well-being. There are so many ways to combat that, though. I wish that I had a month to sit in front of the camera, because that's probably what it would take for me to give you all of the health benefits that essential oils have. Let's leave the spirituality aside, all that frou-frou chakra stuff. Let's talk about actual physical, scientific well-being in our bodies. These can do so much for us. It is such a beautiful, natural way to remedy some of our solutions or some of our problems that we're having in our body. Especially, one of the main ways that we can combat this is reducing chemicals in and around our home. So, stress aside, we talked a lot about that in the first video. I want to specifically talk now about our bodies. And one of the things that we are actually choosing to do or choosing not to do is the products we bring into our home that we use in and on our bodies and in and around our families. So one thing that's come up for me a lot during this pandemic is this problem where I don't have a choice in a lot of things. I don't have a choice whether my daughter's school stays open, and I don't have a choice whether my job is still there. There's been a lot of things where my choice and your choice has been taken away. But it's really important then to focus deeply on where we do have choices, where we are able to make change and exert that control that our human nature sort of needs to exert. One of those places is in our homes. Reducing the cleaning supplies that you are using, not only switching to all natural products, but maybe even making your own. One thing that's really important that I'd like to make sure people know of is something called greenwashing. This is very real. It's similar to brainwashing, but it is something that advertising and marketing executives have evilly plotted against the human race to greenwash our minds into believing that a product is safe and healthy for our family simply by putting like a beige label on it with some green leaves and some clean fonts. That does not mean that product is safe. It definitely means it probably costs a couple of dollars more, so you think that you're getting a clean product. But the fact of the matter is that if you do the research and you read the ingredients, there's still a lot of things that cause us problems. So like, why does it matter, right? What's the big deal? Well, these chemicals in a lot of our cleaning products, our bath products, shampoos, conditioners, deodorants, they're endocrine and hormone disruptors. Our hormones balance everything in our bodies. Our digestive issues, our heart rate, our high blood pressure, regular blood pressure, like all of these things are regulated by our hormones. These are the chemicals which our body creates naturally. So if the natural rhythm of our body is being disrupted by an outside stimulus, like a chemical, say in Windex or Dawn dish liquid, in these chemicals, then we are being disrupted. Our natural systems are being thrown out of whack, and then things are not going to align as naturally as they could. So in your journey to possibly make some switches, there are some really easy changes to make, and one of them is including essential oils and making your own products. I have slowly made the switch, right? It's baby steps. We call it doing it one drop at a time because I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed. These changes take time, but again, every change you make will help you gain that sense of control that we're losing in this time. And that's a really powerful thing in and of itself. I'm going to go through each of these oils really quick and let you know the ways that each of them can help to heal some of your bodily systems and heal different physical ailments that you might be experiencing. Lemon. This is a great detoxifier. So not only does it detoxify our emotions, as we stated in the first video, but it will actually detoxify impurities and toxins from our environment. So the air we breathe, maybe you've made all the changes you can possibly make in your control in your home and in the food you eat, but it's still in the air that we breathe. It's still in some things outside of our control. And so lemon can help to detoxify those things. It's also an amazing cleaner. Just one drop of lemon with some baking soda can scrub your sinks perfectly clean. It's miracle. You will be surprised at the efficacy of natural products, I promise. Tea tree oil. This is a very powerful antifungal and antimicrobial oil. So at a time when microbes are a problem, right? There's something that we're all very wary of. This is a great tool to have on hand. You can add it to your hand soaps for an extra dose of antibacterial properties. You can also add it to some homemade hand sanitizer, maybe just some spritz of alcohol with some tea tree oil can help to kill germs. Another thing that tea tree is wonderful for is your skin. So I think one of the problems that the pandemic has been causing for a lot of people is acne, or what do we call it, maskne, I think is something that people are calling it. So tea tree oil is beautiful for the skin. That antimicrobial property can absolutely help to clear up skin or rashes, anything along those lines. Lavender. Again, we mentioned in the previous video that this is sort of the king of relaxation. It's such a king in all of the essential oil world. It has so many versatile uses. Lavender can help wounds, bruises, sore spots, bug bites, redness, irritation, anything like that on the skin. It's especially safe to use with children. Lavender is one of the only oils that you can use without dilution safely on children. So that's something nice to remember, and it's soothing for the children as well. If they get used to breathing it in at night, then they get used to putting it on their bug bites or their boo-boos. Just something nice to have on hand. Rosemary. This can protect the liver. We all know that our liver is our detoxifying organ. It goes through a lot of work every day. So using rosemary might help protect the liver. It might fight some cancers. It can help with hypertension, high blood pressure. It's also good for your hair. Putting it in like an oil, rubbing it on your hair helps with hair growth and strength. And then it's also good in cooking. I meant to mention this in the previous video. I'll just mention it here now. Some essential oils are deemed by the FDA safe to ingest. I am going to put out a huge disclaimer that it is up to you to make sure the FDA has approved the line of oils that you are choosing to ingest, should you choose that route. Rosemary is good in cooking or salad dressings. Lemon might be great in tea. But again, you'll have to safely do your research and make sure that that specific oil is food grade labeled by the FDA. Orange, which is rich in limonene, which is studied in over 50 clinical trials to combat tumor growth. It can also help with high blood pressure, insomnia, fluid retention, and it boosts immunity, which of course at this time, especially going into winter, we all know that the pandemic is not the only thing we're fighting. There's flu, there's colds, there's all different types of respiratory viruses going around. And so boosting our immunity is something we all are looking to do, right? Orange is a wonderful way to do that. Peppermint. Peppermint is the king of headaches. Everybody knows that just a little stripe of peppermint along the forehead, behind the ears, the back of the neck. Wonderful for getting rid of a headache in a natural way. It's a simple switch that you can make instead of automatically reaching for the Motrin or the Tylenol to reach for the peppermint first. Have a glass of water with it, and then wait about 20 minutes. I don't like headaches. If it doesn't work, then I take some Motrin, but I certainly like to try it first. Peppermint is also awesome with fever, which is going around this time of year. It's an anti-inflammatory and a digestive stimulant. So if you feel bloated, nausea, anything going on, especially acid indigestion, 1 drop of peppermint, food grade safe, is a great way to combat those issues. I wanted to offer an exercise, a couple of exercises here, ways that you can use these essential oils in your everyday life. One is a bath with Epsom salts. So oil and water don't mix naturally, but if you take a small bowl of Epsom salts, the oil will connect with the salt, which then is soluble in water. Salt will be a carrier to disperse the oil safely through the water. And then that's a great way to just soak the whole body in the goodness of the essential oil and gain the medicinal benefit. Another thing that helps combat stress, which we mentioned so much has an impact on our physical well-being, is legs up the wall pose. This is a yoga pose. You can lay on your back with your bum right up to the wall. Put your legs up high, resting on the wall. Before you do this, rub some orange oil all over your feet. Put on some cozy socks. This orange oil is going to help to detoxify and help rid the body of extra lymph fluid. The lymphatic system flows through all of the lymph nodes in our body. And so putting those legs up the wall just helps gravity drain that lymphatic system, rid the body of the toxins and the impurities so they can be processed through the vital organs. Usually about 5 or 10 or 15 minutes can be a therapeutic dosage of that pose. Orange oil is a great way to enhance it. So that's all for this video. Those are ways that we can align our body, that we can help heal it in conjunction with the mind and the spirit, using these essential oils to keep us as whole and well as one. Thank you for watching.